everyone, this is Noah, and today I'm going to be doing a first look video. It's not exactly a review video, but Jesse Enkamp Sensei of karatebyjesse.com sent me one of his Seishin brand dogi. So I'm going to put that on, try it out today, and I'm going to actually go through a process of testing it and actually putting together a full review at some point. But today it's just going to be kind of a what it looks like, what it feels like when I put it on, and just my first impressions on the gi. So this isn't going to be an unboxing video. I opened it right away when I got it, partially because, as you might be able to tell by the cut in the plastic, Customs decided that they had to inspect this before it got to me. So it was actually already open when I got it, so there's not really a whole lot of point in doing an unboxing. But when you open the box, you do notice that you get a little bit more than just the gi. So it does come with a certificate from Seishin and Jesse, and it's just a certificate of authenticity of the gi not being a fake, so to speak. In addition, you get a vinyl sticker of the Seishin logo. One of the things that I do like about the Seishin logo that Jesse picked is that it's really pretty generic. It doesn't have words all over it. It's not style specific. It has the hidari-gamon, or the mitsutomoi, the Okinawan symbol, the 3 teardrops in the middle there, and the wreath around it. Even if you end up not liking a Seishin product, if you have one of these, it's not going to offend anybody necessarily. It's nice and generically karate. So it's a nice design for people who want to have a karate related sticker, whether they have a Seishin product or not. The gi also comes with a postcard that just reminds you to tag the Seishin gi on social media. So now that we've gotten through the extras, we'll get to the actual gi. Like I said, Customs opened this, so I could just pull it out of the tear in the plastic, but the plastic is snapped shut, so it actually does normally come the way that it's supposed to. So the first thing that I'm noticing when I pull it out, before anything else, is that it's actually really soft. I'm used to very heavyweight 100% cotton dogi, and they have a tendency to be a bit rough, so this is actually quite soft by comparison. My sensei has a Mugen gi, I think, that's a blend fabric, and it's much softer like this is. So looking at the pants first, pants are a cut that is supposed to come up higher on your waist rather than down on your hips, which not everybody likes. A lot of American practitioners I know prefer it to be around their hips rather than up higher around their natural waist, but the cut of these does put them higher, which I prefer. And I am 6'1" and about 210 pounds. So these actually come down to just above my ankles. So actually the cut on the length of the pants is exactly right for me, which is something that pretty much never happens. So that's a nice thing. The design features on the pants that are often brought up with people are the way this V shape is cut, and how the front of the gi pants is brought up higher so that it doesn't sag in the front. So we'll see how that holds up. I do like the idea, so we'll have to see how that stays. I didn't know that these pants are pleated, actually. But if we look at the front there, you can see that there are pleats in the front of the legs. So I'm not sure what that'll end up doing performance-wise. I imagine that may be for reducing bunching around the hips as you're kicking high, but not sure how that'll work out. We will find out. The drawstrings on here are the folded over fabric type. They're not a round rope type. they are noticeably thinner than the ties on, say, my Mugen gi or my Ronin gi, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because those have a tendency to bunch up in the waistband. So we'll see what happens to these. I'm a little hard on my dogi, so we'll see how much of a problem I can cause there. The gusset of the pants has some air holes in there for breathability. So that is something that might be nice for me being in Arizona where it gets to 120 degrees. All right, looking at the jacket. Looks like the sleeves might be a bit long for me, but I also have a tendency to wear my gi sleeves 3/4 length instead of full length, so that's not all that surprising. Most people prefer full length, and I do not. So, if we look at the jacket, just like with the pants, the armpit gussets have these air holes in them. There are a couple gi brands that have those, but not all the ones that I own do. There are the same folded over fabric ties on the jacket. It looks like those are sewn and folded under one of the triangular reinforcement pieces. So we'll see if those stay. Because of the way my style does things, those ties generally tear a lot. So we'll see how well those hold up. The Seishin logo that's embroidered on the back of the neck and back of the shoulders area is very nicely done. And again, I rather like the logo just because it's fairly generically karate, so it doesn't have to fit any particular style. And at least it's fairly small. I'm not fond of a lot of embroidery on gis, so with it being that small, at least it's not horrifically in the way or making things ugly. So again, fabric's very soft. This is also lighter than the gis that I normally wear because I usually wear a 14 or 16 or 18 ounce gi. By comparison, this is a lot thinner than some of those. So we'll see how well that holds up with all the yanking and pulling and throwing people that happens in our application of karate. I do notice that the hem is reinforced with something like 9 rows of stitching, and normally the highest I see is 6. So that's actually pretty impressive, and that seems to be folded over twice. It's extra thick. So at least the hems shouldn't fray too badly, but we shall see how it holds up. I'm going to put this gi on today, wear it through teaching 3 classes and doing some working out myself. We'll see how it feels after that. And then, like I said earlier, I will be going through a longer process of just my normal training and working out and using the gi and write up a full review for that. Okay, so now that I've put the gi on, turns out the sleeves aren't as long quite as I thought. They're still longer than I normally wear them, but I thought they were going to come out to my wrists, but they stop about 3 inches up from there. So not too bad for me. Normally mine would be about here though, so I do wear them shorter. And the pants are a little shorter than I had thought they were too. I thought they came to my ankles, and again they're 2-3 inches above my ankle. But again, I wear those a little short as well, so it doesn't bother me any. Again, first impression stuff, we're not an actual review yet. This is a very light gi. Again, compared to my Mugen, compared to my Ronin, compared to my Tokaido, compared to the shuri-te that I've used. This is a much lighter fabric, and as someone who is used to the heavier fabric, my initial concern would be light fabric rips. But we will see more modern fabrics rather than organic ones like cotton have a tendency to rip less. So it's entirely possible that the blend that this gi is will actually hold up just fine. But it's something that we'll find out as we go through testing. If nothing else, it is comfortable. It is a light gi, which means it is a more breathable gi, and with it being as hot as it gets here, breathable is kind of a good thing. But I can move in it pretty easily. It doesn't bunch up on me at all, and because it's light, it doesn't feel like I'm having to really move the gi as I move my body. So we'll see how things go in classes today, and I'll record a few thoughts on it right after class, and then we'll start going through the process of really using it over the next couple months and see how it holds up. One of the things that I want to see is how well those ties on the sides hold up, because they do have a tendency to rip off when we're training here. And the other thing that I want to see is where my gi goes over the lapel here at the bottom, because I wear a different gi, or a different belt than most karate people do. It's a little hard to tell on camera, but that is actually jiu-jitsu or judo gi fabric that this belt is made of. So this is a hemp belt from Datsusada, which makes mostly Brazilian jiu-jitsu gear. But when they were first starting out making belts, they didn't put the weird rank stripe patch on the bottom of it. So I figured I'd grab one for myself and use it for karate. It holds up very, very well. But that fabric is rough, and it tends to fray the threads on this area. So we'll see how that holds up.
So I started my workout in the new Seishin gi with Tachimoto no Naihanchi because it requires a lot of sinking, squatting, twisting that not all other kata have. So it kind of makes you move a little bit differently, and some gi have a tendency to bunch up and be uncomfortable when you're doing those types of movements. So this one didn't actually have any problem with it, although since this was the first thing I did in the morning, it was a little stiff. I didn't get to move quite as smoothly as you normally should, but it still worked out pretty well. And from there I moved on to shorin-ryu kata. This is Pinan Shodan, and the big thing that I noticed was how cool it kept me. Even with it being winter here in Arizona right now and it only getting to maybe mid-70s, you still tend to get pretty warm after running a kata or two. And that didn't really happen here just because of how thin the material is and the air holes and things like that. So it was pretty comfortable as far as temperature goes, even with wearing the Under Armour heat gear that I normally wear underneath. I don't usually stay this cool. So I also moved on to some traditional Hojo-Endo, like the Chi-Shi you see here. And again, even with that, I didn't really feel too warm, which was a kind of nice change. We'll see what it feels like when it gets hotter as the year goes on here. But it was light, it was easy to move in, it didn't bunch up on me while I was doing any of these exercises. I also taught 3 classes, including a sparring class and a grappling class, so I was able to get through all that pretty well. Did a little bit of basics on the bag as far as low line kicks that you see here. I also did some more sport fighting type kicks and punching, elbowing, kneeing the bags. I just didn't record that stuff. And I didn't have any problem with any of that either. I will say after about 4.5 hours of training total on this day, the waist did start to pinch a bit, but that's kind of normal for most of the gi that I wear with the pants that go around your natural waist. They start to kind of slide down, and that makes them pinch a bit, but it's easy enough to adjust. And the drawstring didn't come untied, so that was good. The drawstrings on the sides did come untied, but I think that probably saved them from being torn in grappling, so not the worst thing to have happen either.